I grew up in northern Pennsylvania, about 20 minutes away from a massive stretch of state forest that locals just call the Deep Woods. It wasn't officially named that, but once you hiked far enough past the marked trails, the trees got thicker, the ground rougher, and the sense of isolation heavier. No cabins, no roads, just miles of forest. My dad used to take me camping there when I was younger. So when I turned 19, I decided to go back on my own for the first time. It was early October. Cold enough at night to see your breath, but not freezing. I packed a tent, food for 2 days, and basic supplies. The plan was simple. Hike about 5 miles and set up camp near a creek I remembered from childhood, and head back the next afternoon. The first few hours were normal. The trail was quiet, but peaceful. Leaves crunching under my boots, wind moving through the trees. No other hikers in sight. Around mile 4, the marked trail ended, just like I remembered. After that, it was mostly instinct and memory. I followed the direction of the creek, weaving between dense trees until I found a small clearing near the water. It felt familiar. I set up my tent, built a small fire, and settled in as the sun went down. The forest changed quickly after dark. What had felt calm during the day now felt heavy. The darkness between the trees seemed thicker than it should have been. Still, I told myself it was normal. Woods always feel different at night. Around 10 p.m., I crawled into my tent. The fire had burned down to embers, and the only sound was the creek flowing nearby. That's when I heard the first noise. Footsteps. Not close. Maybe 30 or 40 feet away. Slow, steady crunching through leaves. I froze. My first thought was deer. There were plenty in that area, but deer move lightly. These steps sounded heavier, more deliberate. They stopped. Silence returned for a full minute. Then I heard a single step closer, and another. My heart started pounding. I reached for my flashlight, but didn't turn it on. I didn't want to alert whatever was out there that I was awake. The footsteps circled my campsite slowly, not rushing, just moving carefully around the tent. Then they stopped directly behind me. I could hear breathing, low, slow, controlled, not an animal. I held my breath, hoping it would move on. After about 30 seconds, the footsteps resumed, moving away this time, gradually fading into the woods. I didn't sleep much after that. At sunrise, everything looked normal. No obvious footprints near the tent. No signs of disturbed ground. Just fallen leaves. I told myself I'd imagined the breathing. I packed up slowly and considered leaving early. But pride got in the way. I didn't want to cut the trip short over paranoia. So I decided to stay one more night. That was my mistake. The second evening felt colder, even though the temperature hadn't changed much. The woods seemed quieter than before. No birds. No distant animal sounds. Just wind through branches. Around 9 p.m., while sitting by the fire, I heard something from across the creek. A voice, a faint, almost carried by the wind. Hey, I stood up immediately. No one should have been out there. The nearest marked trail was miles away. I scanned the tree line, but saw nothing. Then it came again. Hey, over here. It sounded like a man's voice, calm, almost casual. I grabbed my flashlight and aimed it across the creek. The beam illuminated tree trunks and brush. Nothing else. I'm not lost, the voice said softly. You are. My stomach dropped. The voice didn't sound far away anymore. It sounded closer, like it had moved while I was looking elsewhere. I can help you, it continued. The tone wasn't threatening. That made it worse. I backed toward my tent slowly, keeping the flashlight aimed outward. I'm fine, I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. Silence. Then, from somewhere directly behind me, the same voice whispered, "No, you're not." I spun around. No one there. But my tent zipper was halfway open. I knew I had closed it completely. The fire crackled loudly, and, in that brief flicker of light, I saw something between the trees about 20 feet away. A tall shape, standing perfectly still. Too thin to be a tree, too upright to be a shadow. I raised the flashlight toward it. Nothing, just empty woods. My breathing became shallow. I didn't bother packing. I shoved essentials into my backpack, kicked dirt over the fire, and started walking back toward where I believed the trail was. The woods looked different at night. Every direction felt wrong. Branches seemed thicker. Paths I thought I remembered weren't there anymore. After about 10 minutes of walking, I saw something ahead of me that made my blood run cold. My campsite. The same clearing. The same half-covered fire pit. My tent still standing. I had been walking in a straight line. There was no way I should have looped back. The voice came again, this time from somewhere high above me in the trees. "You don't know this forest anymore." I didn't look up. I just ran. I ran blindly through branches and brush, ignoring scratches and uneven ground. I didn't stop until I saw the faint reflective marker of the official trail sign glowing in my flashlight beam. I followed it all the way back to the parking lot and drove home shaking. The next day, I checked the map again. The creek clearing I decamped at wasn't T-marked anywhere near where I thought it was. According to the official layout, I would have had to hike nearly 12 miles off trail to reach it. I only walked 5. I haven't gone back since. And sometimes at night, when it's quiet, I still hear that voice in my head, .com.patient, waiting for me to get lost again.